But I would like to welcome all of you to the general meeting, the first one in 2021. And this was supposed to be a celebration to end 2020, but the first week of January feels like kind of more of the same, only more so. I mean, if you consider just this past week, we have two Democratic senators from Georgia. Yes. That is a huge, huge victory for the progressive voice. And then, of course, the events yesterday. It seems like the bad news of the week, since we had insurgents actually break into the Capitol building. And apparently there was some assistance from the Capitol Police. And as I was talking earlier with some of you, it feels like a parallel because some of the Capitol Police were in sympathy with the Trump supporters. And so they actually assisted them into the building. And if you look at that, and in parallel to our September the 4th BLM rally on the square, the sheriff's office actually assisted some of the right-wing hate groups. And the police department were less than forceful in how they handled their behavior. So it feels like to me that it's necessary to look at our police force and to see what their motivations are. So, having said that, there's actually a silver lining to this, because yesterday I think it was pretty plain to the whole country that Donald Trump is a loose cannon. And I think the events of yesterday are going to slim down his support and weaken his base, is my thought. And so as we go through this year, I think we can keep that in mind, stay focused on the issues, and let them continue to self-destruct. Because organizations that are built on lies and hate just cannot sustain themselves. We just want to make sure we don't add any energy to that. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for being interested in Prescott Indivisible, because we are a grassroots organization that is focused on change. And change is what we are in the midst of. And looking from a certain perspective, I think that can be pretty exciting. So, the first thing that we want to do is we want to recognize someone who has been part of Prescott Indivisible for 4 years. So, I'm going to share a little bit of a YouTube video. So I don't know if any of you have paid attention to how our Prescott Indivisible videos start, but here's one of them from the Rural Summit.
We've always been here.
We've always understood what's at stake.
So the question is, did you ever think about how those videos got put together? And we have had a fabulous videographer, Bill Court, who has been on our team for 4 years since the beginning of Indivisible, and we would like to honor him tonight. So we have a we have a letter of appreciation that I would like Doug Knoll to read. Okay, Doug, would you like to read your letter of appreciation?
Okay, this is Prescott Indivisible letterhead, Mr. Bill Court, Prescott, Arizona. Prescott Indivisible would like to express our appreciation to Bill Court for his untiring volunteer service to Prescott Indivisible and our partner organizations. Bill has been with Indivisible since the founding in 2016. Bill recorded virtually every meeting of Prescott Indivisible, edited the video, and created the YouTube channel for PI and related activities. He's been present to record virtually every event. Then he follows up with many more hours of viewing, editing, and producing the final polished digital record. Bill is PI's one-man audio-visual department. He recommended the sound and the visual display equipment needed for the Indivisible meetings and events. His production and editing skills have been seen in Indivisible's national campaigns. He is a self-taught amateur who produces professional results. Bill Court has been a welcome and valued volunteer asset to the Prescott Indivisible mission.
Thank you, Doug. And now let's hear from Jeff Daverman. Because Jeff and Bill have worked together a lot.
Yeah, thanks, Mavis. And hello, everyone. I just want to say that I'm really happy that steering committee has chosen to recognize Bill's contributions here tonight. And I wanted to personally thank you, Bill. It's really been a pleasure working with you over the past few years. Your dedication has been amazing. And I know it's been a ton of work. So thank you. From meetings to marches, Bill has been there ready to capture the work of Prescott Indivisible to help inform our community and grow our influence. Bill's contribution has been a valuable one in the success of Prescott Indivisible, and this recognition is well-deserved. As the chair of the communications team, I feel very fortunate to have Bill on board, and I really look forward to continuing to work together in 2021. Thanks again, Bill.
Hey, thank you, Jeff. And now, Jim Stein, what do you have that we have to give to Bill?
We have a little plaque that we made up. It says, if anybody can read it, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, it says, Service Excellence Award presented to Bill Court in recognition of your many hours of high quality volunteer dedication, labor, and support as the official Prescott Indivisible videographer, January 7th, 2021.
Okay, thank you, Jim.
I can stop sharing here, hang on. There you go.
All right. And now, Bill.
Yes.
Would you like to say a few words?
Well, thank you, obviously. Am I going somewhere? That looks like a very nice send-off for somebody.
This is a recognition for 4 years of all that you do.
Well, I've had fun doing it the entire time, so I thank everybody for those kind words and that recognition. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill. So we're going to move on to our program this evening, who is Nicky Indicavitch, and I am proud that I can now say that without stumbling too much. And so Nicky's going to talk to us about the state legislature and RTS. So Nicky, it's yours.
All right. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. So my name is Nicky Indicavitch. I am your new education chair, and I am an organizer that works up in Northern Arizona around K-12 policy. So I am going to run through just really quickly some slides that kind of give you guys a feel for what's going on at the legislature, kind of let you know what the makeup of our legislature is now that we've had this election, what that means for pretty much everybody's efforts down at our legislature in terms of lobbying and getting our issues heard or stopping issues that we don't want to see down there. And then towards the end, I'm going to kind of leave a lot of time open for questions and click through some links and expose you guys a little bit to the RTS system and some of the organizations doing the work at the Capitol. Mavis, do you want me to just have everybody put questions in the chat box, or do you want to just hold them for the end? How do you think?
Yes, please put questions in the chat box, and then Maria Elena will look through them and ask you, Nikki, at the end of your presentation.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share these slides. Okay, can everybody see that okay?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so this is just a couple of slides to give you guys a little bit of a breakdown of the 2020 election and what to expect coming out of our legislative session. So we had a very eventful election. Obviously, it was a presidential election, but we also did seat our legislative representatives for the year. And so it's eventful in many ways for Arizona. And there were some significant changes to that. So we're going to kind of run through that. See who and what won, what the legislative session might mean for our schools, and where our allies are down there. Obviously in Arizona, K-12 policy has been an issue for many years. We're going on a decade of severely underfunded schools. So this legislative body has not been friendly to our public education system here in Arizona. Going into 2020, we really hope to see some changes there. Unfortunately, that did not end up being the case. This is the current makeup of your Arizona legislature. You have your House and Senate chambers that are still Republican controlled. We did tighten up those margins a little bit. There was one flip in the Senate. So you see that there's 16-14 split right there, which is pretty tight. It obviously requires that all the Republicans get on board to pass anything. And it also limits any kind of ability to veto. So that can be an issue. A little bit of a concern looking at this legislative session is that we're really seeing a split within the Republican Party. Governor Ducey has not been on board with a lot of the policies coming out of our new legislature. And so those margins, those thin margins, are going to be really important as you look towards what they can pass down there. Oh, there it goes. Here is your leadership team. This is really important to remember when you look at the legislative body. These guys really do set the agenda for the session. Karen Fan, obviously, is a Prescott native. She is our legislature. She is the Senate president. I would consider her, the second most powerful person in the state of Arizona in terms of policy down there. So it's going to be really, really important to apply pressure on Karen Fan at any point. That hasn't been fruitful in the past, but of course, we're going to keep trying. Rusty Bowers is her counterpart on the House side, and you have your Democratic minority leadership here, Rebecca Rios and Reginald Balding. A little bit of a change there on that side for the Democrats. We have not seen these leadership positions, so we'll see what that means for the Here's your education committee meeting, or education committee. They will be meeting every Tuesday on the Senate and the House side, so you'll look for news coming out of those groups on Tuesdays. As you can see, we do have one of our reps in there from LD1. It's going to be important, again, since it's one of our LD1 guys, to really form a relationship with him and see if we can't apply some pressure and use that. I am not hopeful for that, but again, we're gonna do our best. We're gonna try and push on that representative, because he does have some say in K-12 policy, serving on that committee. Okay. Oh, that's a little backwards. So we have 4 days until the legislature returns. They come back January 11th. This is super important that you guys kind of be looking for news coming out of the Capitol. The governor is going to make a state of the state address that's going to be done remotely. So there's not going to be a lot of activity at the Capitol, but you will obviously have an opportunity to weigh in a little bit more than you have in the past, because they will be online and there'll be video streaming. So look for that. The state of the state is important. One of the things, we kind of broke this down into a to-do list, and I'm going to run through each of these and then show you guys some really great links. So if you're looking to get engaged in K-12 policy, the first thing you want to do is sign up for RTS, which is our request to speak system. Arizona is nice, and I air quote that, in the fact that they do allow us to electronically make our voice heard at the legislature, but the system is always not user friendly. It's a little bit clunky. It can be difficult to sort through. So what I'm going to be doing as your education chair and all the work that I do up north is making myself really available to anybody interested in learning more about K-12 policy in the RTS system. We are not advising any volunteers go down to the Capitol or meet with their representatives, especially if your representatives are not wearing masks and honoring social distancing. That could be really dangerous for volunteers. So we're asking that people utilize RTS in place of what would have been, in-person meetings or time down at the Capitol. We do have new reps here in LD1, so it's going to be really important that we set the tone early on with these guys by emailing them, asking them questions, and staying close to them. It's not, we're not hopeful that we'll see a lot of changes from these guys, but some pressure from the community around K-12 policy can really, really, really make it difficult for them to pass bad policy. And that's really our goal, is to kind of thwart off efforts that will make it difficult for schools. Set meetings with them. They are offering Zooms. As I said, please, I would advise all of our volunteers do not go in person or meet in person. We'll look to that as the session goes through and see if it's safe, but I don't believe that it will. Oh, there it goes. And then bring your community with you. So if you set a Zoom or you have a conference call set up, go ahead and load up your friends. And it's always funner when you have a crowd. So definitely, if you're going to go after a legislature, I say you bring a friend with you, because then it's a lot more entertaining for them and you. So that's kind of the to-do list. Here is the best way to get those things done. So I'm going to just click on these links so you guys become really familiar with these sites, because I think they're super important. So the first one is civic engagement beyond voting. So what I'm going to show you guys here is how you can log in, or how you can get your own request to speak system and some of the resources they have. So if you don't have request to speak right now, you can go to this website, which once I'm done, I'm going to drop this in the links, and I'll make sure that Mavis has it, and you can create your own form, and they'll go down to the Capitol and set up your account for you. The way that request to speak works in Arizona is you do have to be in person to get that account. And so we don't want you guys trying to make a rundown to the Capitol. Just go ahead and have civic engagement do it for you. They'll send you a dummy password, and then you just change it and it becomes your own. If you look through kind of civic engagements resources here on the side, they do have a ton of information about request to speak. And that's going to be really helpful, because as I said, that system's a little clunky. It can be difficult to kind of learn, but then once you kind of have it, you'll feel a little better about it. So definitely, if you get a chance, click through here, look through some of their videos, and then you can always reach out to them if you want to attend a training or host a training, which I think would be a great idea. One of the things that we're doing with our advocates right now is hosting those RTS trainings for them so that they can kind of get ready to go and get used to using that system. Civic Engagement Beyond Voting is one of the more active groups in the state in terms of using request to speak. So they really have become the experts on this system. So I would really recommend that you guys utilize them. If you're feeling like you need questions, they're really great to work with. I call them a lot when I am feeling all just flustered and confused by this system. Okay, then the next one I'm going to show, why is that going away? There we go. So the next one, when you're talking K-12 policy, there really is a group that is, I think, in my opinion, really led the way in terms of advocating for our schools and kind of what is happening and kind of fighting on behalf of public education, and that is Save Our Schools Arizona. They have, if you guys remember, they were the ones that kind of shut down an attempt at expanded vouchers here in Arizona a couple of years ago, but they have since turned into really an advocacy group on all things K-12. And so if you have a minute and you're really interested to see what they're up to, their website is a wealth of knowledge, and there's a lot of stuff that you can kind of get into. They do really great legislative updates. So if you're not sure what's happening at the Capitol, you can sign up to get these. And they'll just come in once a week, sometimes a little more frequently. They're very easy to understand. Full disclosure, I do work for Save Our Schools, so I'm a little bit biased, but I loved them before I worked for them, so it doesn't count. So they have a ton of stuff going on. Their Facebook page stays really active. So my advice to anybody looking to better understand what's happening with our schools is to definitely use Save Our Schools and get signed up with them. This link will come out to you guys as well. Once I kind of wrap up this. Then the last thing I just kind of want to share so you guys can see is the Arizona School Boards Association does a really good job of breaking down the legislative session as well. If you go to their website, it's the same thing. You can just sign up to get an update. It's just an email that comes in. The great thing about those emails is if you're not in the mood and you're overwhelmed, you can totally ignore them, which is what I do when I've just had way too much. But if you are in the mood and you kind of want to understand what's happening down there, or you feel like you're not clear on what that legislative body's doing, ASBA does a really good job of breaking that down in terms that make sense. They have a full-time lobbyist that works down at the Capitol, so they're getting inside information as bills are moving and as this policy is kind of rolling out down there. So huge. Those are you're going to have all those links. Those are super helpful. I would recommend you guys just get signed up and kind of, ease into it a little bit. I'm a resource if you guys, are kind of feeling overwhelmed or you're feeling like this is a lot. I don't think I want to get into that. Definitely reach out. Mavis and I have been working closely on kind of how we streamline education policy and get you guys, tidbits of information so that you don't feel so overwhelmed. The one thing I would say to advocates is as you look to K-12 policy, I don't expect everybody to know what's happening. And I think the legislative body does that on purpose. It is very chaotic. They are not transparent in the way that they run policy. So you are going to feel a little overwhelmed by them. And that is why I'm here. So if you guys have questions, please reach out. As we kind of get through the session, it will get a little hectic, but I always love to be able to just sit down. We can even do a one-on-one. So questions on any of that? I didn't check the group text, but I'm going to text that. You have some?
You're on mute, Maria.
Yeah, the only question that is on the chat box is, I noticed that Gwen is on the education committee. What educational background does he have?
I don't know the answer to that because I don't know. I don't have the list. Mavis, do you have that maybe?
I don't.
Yes, I believe he's the one who was just elected from Prescott Valley.
Oh, from LD1?
Yeah.
Oh, he has no educational background. I don't know why he even wants to be on that committee.
Okay.
He was a little bit of an oddball. His wife does work in a Prescott school, and that's kind of the connection that I thought maybe, but he did come out early in his campaign advocating for privatization, and that may have been why they put him on that committee.
Wonderful. I personally have a question too, is do you expect to be able to give us, like for all of Prescott Indivisible, heads up in terms of when we need to take quick action on certain items?
Yeah, so we have a really good idea of how the legislative session is going to roll out because both of the education committee meetings are on Tuesdays. What we plan to do is have updates ready on Sunday. So if you can just mark now for Sunday evenings, that'll be the day that you more than likely weigh in on RTS for education bills. That gives you guys kind of time to hear from us on Sunday, get the update, and then make sure that you get your RTS out before they meet on Tuesday. And so that's kind of going to be the calendar. This will be the case until we go into budget negotiations. For anybody that's followed the Arizona legislature, you know that the budget happens in the middle of the night. They give you zero notice. And so the bill moving will be predictable, but the budget negotiations will be a totally different game. It will be very short notice. And we'll do our best to get those links out to you guys quickly, but know that that stuff happens way too fast. And so you may get a text or an email if you're signed up that says, hey, we need you guys now. Can you get on the phone? The budget bills are moving. It's midnight, and that's kind of how they've done that down there for quite a while, a number of years.
What?
I didn't hear that.
Me neither.
So something I would like to
I'll come back later. And I've got like 2 minutes more that I have to be in the kitchen, so I'm almost done.
Excuse me, if you're not on mute and need to be on mute, check your settings, please. So, Nikki, one thing I want you and everybody else to know is that here at Prescott Indivisible, we are gathering people to learn how to use RTS. And then we're going to go to different trainings. I'm working with people in Sedona and Cottonwood for training and for networking. So we have a lot going on. So anyone that is interested in joining us in our learning of RTS and then actually doing RTS on a weekly basis, I'm going to put my email address in the chat box.
There's a question from Abby Brill. The IR report will still be coming out weekly, right?
Yep, Melinda's working on that now. You guys will see that as well. So the IR report is going to be more expansive outside of K-12 policy, but that's still a wonderful resource. She covers all the bills and she's very active down there. So following Melinda and signing up for those is very important as well.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we're good. Nikki, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Absolutely. You guys reach out. I'm going to drop some links into the text thread, and then you guys will probably get them, I'm sure, later from Mavis as well.
Right.
Hello.
Thank you so much, Nikki. So Nikki she said this, but I want to emphasize this. Nikki is a really busy person, and she's a mover and shaker down in the state legislature. And she has volunteered to be the education.
Taking my scary white trash food back into my bedroom.
Excuse me, if you're not on mute, would you please put yourself on mute? Thank you. And so, so thank you very much, Nikki, for all that you do, because you are a true asset to Prescott Indivisible. So, next on our agenda, I want to talk about steering committee members. So Nikki's on the steering committee. We talked about honoring Bill Court, and Doug Knoll is a member at large on the steering committee. He read the letter of appreciation. Jeff Daverman is the team leader for the communications team, and Jim Stein is the environmental team leader. So we have a very active steering committee. Plus we have other members, and we'll be hearing more from them later. But I just want you to know that in February, we are going to have elections for new steering committee members. So we have all of our team leaders, and then we have 3 members at large, plus a treasurer and a secretary. So we have 2 vacancies for the members at large. Maria Lynham was a member at large, and at the end of this month, she is going to take on a new role as the liaison from the Yavapai Dems. So she's going to still be in our meetings, and we're still going to benefit from her expertise and her networking for sure. But that empties a slot. And Rosemary Dixon, who used to be used to be the chair, she created the anti-racial group, and so she was in a member at large slot.
That's it.
Excuse me, if you're not on mute, would you please go to mute? I'm still catching some background noise here.
I am too, Mavis. Can you mute us all yourself? Or is it like you have to do it one by one?
Done. Good idea, Jane. Can you still hear me? Okay, so we have good news. I have nominated Molly Beverly for one of the member at large slots. Molly writes the newsletter every other week for PI, and she comes to all the steering committee meetings. So what I'd like to do is I would like to have Molly just say a few words so she can,
Okay,
just a second, Molly, are you there?
I'm here.
All right, just a second. I don't know. Oh, here you are. Here you are. I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh,
Molly.
front and center, and I can't see any of you now. Well, yeah, those of you that know me know that I'm have been involved in Prescott Indivisible since its inception, and I have lived in Prescott since 1974, which actually I live in Chino Valley, and have experienced the very conservative nature of this place. But in more recent years, since Trump has come in, it has gotten horrendous. And I'm really glad to have you folks for support and progressive values, which just didn't exist here in the past. And so I'm very happy to lend whatever I can to this group. My background is cooking, teaching at Yavapai College. I do some food writing, and I'm the chair of Slow Food Prescott, which is a food activist organization. Good enough?
All righty. Hey, perfect. Thank you so much, Molly.
You're welcome.
So, Marion, do you have somebody to nominate as well?
I do. I would like to nominate Hillary Canizaro. I have worked with Hillary in 3 campaigns now. I believe the first one we worked together on was Peter Pearson's, and then she played quite a sizable role in Joe Craycraft's campaign, and then most recently Judy's. So I find her quite amazing because she manages at her younger age to juggle kids and activism. She just ran for the school board. It was a loss to the school board that she didn't win, but hey, there's going to be other ones. So I think Hillary would be a great person to have as a member at large. And I think she's around to say something.
I think
I'm
she
here.
is.
I'm here. Hi, everybody. Yeah, one of these days we're going to win one of these campaigns, aren't we?
We will. We will.
But yes, that's what I do. If you are running, that is what I like to do to take part. I am a canvasser and I will help with your campaign. That's what I do. But I told myself this year, it's not an election year. I was going to really focus on changing jobs and my family. And then Marion called me and I was like, nope, I will absolutely want to do this. If Indivisible needs me, I will go for it because this is my group. This is my most important group. I am a member of a lot of groups, actually. Move to Amend and NASCA and Prescott Education Advocacy Council. But you guys are my people. And if you want me, I will be on this steering committee. I would love to. So I'm here for you. Whatever you need me to do.
All righty. Hillary, thank you so much. I love your energy and enthusiasm for it. So I will get to you both, Molly and Hillary, and let you know what the requirements are as far as being nominated, and then we will have an election at the February general meeting. So thank you. Those are the 2 elected positions. We would also like to recruit someone to be the assistant treasurer to help Jane Doyle with the, basically to understand the finances of Prescott Indivisible, so that if for some reason Jane isn't available, then we have a backup. And for a volunteer organization, that is a very good idea for all the positions. So if you're interested, if you can count to 5 consistently and correctly, then you meet the criteria, okay? So I'm making a joke, of course. But if you have any sort of bookkeeping or spreadsheet background, that would be perfect. So just let me know. So we're going to move next to Maria Elena, and she is going to talk about, she's the immigration team leader, and she is going to talk about DACA. You're still on mute. You're still on mute.
Okay, there. All
Yeah.
right.
Good.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. What I wanted to talk about today for about 2 minutes is the fact that I'm sure many of you are aware we have dreamers in our midst, and these are the young individuals who came to this country in a quote unquote undocumented fashion because they were brought here as children by their parents. During the Obama administration, a policy was put in place that allowed these kids to receive some protection from deportation, and so that they could have some access to jobs, driver's licenses, etc. That is called the DACA, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. During the Trump administration, they have attempted through court cases or otherwise to chip away at it and do away completely with it. But it has continued to exist, which has been really quite remarkable. The catch, if you will, is that each individual covered by this program has to renew his or her permit or her protection or his protection every 2 years at the cost of $495. And many of them, while they work and go to school, they and their families don't have those resources. We have an extremely generous community, and I will go into that in a minute. So up to today, I'm actually doing another one tomorrow. So up to today, we have supported 34 young people in that effort. We put it a very small request a few days ago, and since then I was just notified by the treasurer earlier, we have received $1,450 in the last few days, and that's fantastic. But we were already in the hole, and we have a number on what would you say in the pipeline, mostly because now, due to a court decision on the 4th of December, the Trump administration is required to accept even brand new applicants for this protection. So I know of someone working with 2 cases, so we're going to have more and more demand. So let me tell you, so that you have a sense of why we're doing this. This is just 3 cases of the types of kids that we have helped. And I say kids because they are at the most, like 25, 26 years old. One of them is a young woman who is a single mother, goes to school full time, has 2 jobs, and cares for an autistic child. That's the kind of person that we are supporting. Another one is a young man who is who for the last 7 years has been the sole support for him and his brother after their parents died. And again, he has 2 jobs and is trying to do technical school. Another person that we have supported is a young woman whom some of you have heard me speak about before, who recently, 2 years ago, graduated high school. Despite the fact that she has a neurological problem that while she hears, she cannot speak. And she actually managed to get herself a job at Culver's. And when I went there one time and pulled the night manager to the side and said, thank you so much for doing this on her behalf, he actually said, you don't have to thank me because she's the best employee I have. You know, those are the kinds of individuals we've been helping. So if any of you know, or any of you can continue to support, go to our website and hit on the donate and follow the instructions, and please contribute to our DACA fund. We are very responsible in how we select you know, we interview, we have a paper record, and I keep in touch with just about all of them, and they're very good about keeping in touch. And, you know, if there's any issues, they come back to us, and, you know, we have now a community, and they actually have a community amongst themselves. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maria Elena. We're now going to move to the Treasurer's Report with Jane Doyle.
Yay, Jane.
Put your microphone down. There you go. You're on mute.
Okay. Can you hear me?
I can.
Excellent. Okay. So share screen. And wrong one. There we go. All right. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, here is the Treasurer's Report for December of last year. At the end of the year, it seems like all of the crows come to roost, you know, and anything that you didn't have time to take care of, you know, accounting entries, all kinds of stuff like that, tends to creep up on you. And it did this year. And so you'll see a couple of kind of odd things. During the year, our general fund had forwarded some funds to VVP. It's a complicated issue, but they weren't able to use all their funds for a certain purpose due to the way their funding works through through Indivisible. So that loan was made, and the VVP just paid it back. So 1567-24 and 1872-24 are related in a way. PI didn't really get that much in donations, and the VVP really, you know, they did decrease their funds by that much, but you all were so generous, and the VVP did such a good job during the year last year. They've got a little fund to start them up, and you can see that right here on this side under program balance. So we did have quite a few expenses this time. Not a big deal. It's just part of what we do. And as you can see, a lot of them are basically their general fund type experiences, which is the fees, the media, Zoom, and G Suite. And then also we were able to fund a DACA recipient in December, and then we were able to make several donations, thanks to you, to CCJ. So that's about it, unless you have any questions.
I think we're good. Thank you, Jane.
I
Thank
have
you.
a question.
Okie dokie.
Under income, it has VVP 1567-24.
I can hardly,
Yeah, John,
I'm sorry, I can hardly hear you.
it's okay. It's because my speaker's on the other side.
Oh, okay. Or if you,
On the income,
mm-hmm.
it has VVP 1567-24. And then down under expenses, it has repayment for outside loan. And it's 1577-24. Are they the same thing?
They might be a mistake. And I don't know who you are that was asking the question.
Sandy.
Abby, thank you. Thank you very much.
Sandy, yeah.
Sandy, thank you.
Sandy, bag and stuff.
Oh, great. Again, if you would like to be the backup treasurer, this is something we've been missing.
I'll think about it. I was treasurer for EWPA for 2 years.
Okay, well then you don't need anybody to, yeah, that's good because as you may appreciate, I don't know how it's set up over there in DWPA, but
And this
I
was
have,
a few years ago.
well, yeah, but I have not had anybody available to audit these sheets at all. So I'm really glad you asked that because that's just the sort of thing that a backup treasurer, no, seriously, that a backup treasurer would have found. Most of my background is in auditing, and so I understand the need for audit and I miss it. So anyway.
I'll think about it. I'll let Mavis.
Okay, yes, anybody else who would like to help out, just let Mavis know and we'll go from there. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I have a few questions.
Okay.
Yes, my name is Roxanne. I just like to introduce myself. This is my first meeting that I'm attending for Prescott Indivisible. I met Rosemary at a Sacred Heart racism class that I took with Sister Ann Fitzsimons. Abby, I think you know that my name is Roxanne Matthews and I am Hans Linder's sister and that you have been at my house. I have served on the Prescott Community Cupboard Board for years and have been active in that. And I'm sort of new to this, so please excuse me if I'm a little nervous. But I did have a question for Nicky, the K through 12. I am very, very interested right now, not only in our public school financing, but also in getting our teachers back in the classroom full time. And I don't know if Prescott Indivisible has anything to do. I've been very proactive in the last couple of days about getting our teachers vaccinated. And I encourage Prescott Indivisible to reach out to our community health and saying, why isn't this being done? What's the plan? There appears to be no plan to get our teachers back in the school as far as administering the vaccines in mass.
Hey, thank you so much, Jane. So I think we're going to move back to Nicky with Roxanne's question.
Sure. Yeah, that is definitely an issue that's circulating around the K-12 community, and it's something that we have been concerned about for quite some time. So teachers are considered a priority. They're considered a 1B. And we're still in 1A in Yavapai County. So 1A is our healthcare providers. At the last update that we got through the health department, they were about 80% done with those 1As. And so our schools are moving into the process of trying to understand how we get those vaccines and what that looks like on the ground for these bigger districts, because obviously we're talking about hundreds of staff members and there's really not a setup to administer vaccines like that. We have seen some pressure applied to the governor to bring the National Guard forward. That would help with logistics. But so far, only one county has moved on to 1B. That's Pinal County down south. And so our hope is that we'll watch them go through their 1B processes. And by the time we get through Yavapai County, maybe we have learned a little bit about, what this looks like in our school communities. Can we do it in our nurse's office that are already pre-existing in our building? So that's definitely a conversation. I have heard estimates that we could be looking at 2 weeks or longer, but as everybody has seen in Arizona, the vaccine rollout's been delayed across the board, and that is certainly an issue for educators in our schools.
Right. Well, Nicky, I have a little bit of insight into this because I have someone in the medical field right here in this community and in the education field, and they are ready to move tomorrow, but they have received no guidance from our health department. So I'm actively working on that along with the health, the community. There are doctors and nurses ready to give out this vaccine to teachers. All they need is a green light from the leadership, and they're waiting for leadership to move.
I think
I could speak directly to that issue.
Yeah, this is Barbara too. You really need to talk to the community health department. And Nikki's right. We're in 1A. A lot of the healthcare workers are done. It's just a matter of transitioning. It's just a matter of patience.
Right,
CVS Farm,
but the wheel doesn't have to be recreated here.
well, they can only do so much with how much vaccine they get. So
They
I
have
don't,
believe me, they have the vaccines. They have the vaccines. My second question goes out to, to Marie about DACA. These DACA contributions to Prescott Indivisible, are they tax credit approved?
As far as I know, not, because we don't have any tax legal standing.
Okay, that does not negate me from making a contribution, since I received a stimulus payment that I don't need because of the terrible rollout of stimulus checks that people don't need. So I will keep you in mind tomorrow morning when I distribute my stimulus check money. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Any amount is always very welcomed.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
And I think that's all that I have right now.
Thank you so much for your questions, Roxanne. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, and
excuse me for a moment. Mike Fogel is my name.
Mike.
Yeah, and this is my first meeting that I've participated in. I can speak directly to some of Roxanne's questions regarding the vaccination of our teachers.
Welcome.
Thank you. I serve on the Chino Valley School District Board, and I can report that on the 27th of this month, there is a scheduled vaccination program that's going to take place for the staff, faculty and staff in our district. I am sure that every superintendent in the area has a likewise plan in place. And so this is rolling out about as quickly as possible. And it is happening as we speak. So.
Great. Thank you so much, Mike. Okay, so as we move along in the program, I want to bring on Jim Stein, who is the environmental team leader.
Hi, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
Unmute. Okay. Yeah, there's give you a little update on what's going on with the things in the state with regard to the environment as far as legislation. There's a whole series of workshops online leading up to the Environment Day at the state capitol on February 3rd. A lot of these are sponsored by the Sierra Club, and there will be details for all these different workshops, as well as all the breakdown of what goes on the Environment Day in the newsletter. You can check that out for the details. And right now I'd like to introduce Carrie Hall from NASCA, Northern Arizona Climate Change Alliance. We're trying to convince her to become the co-chair of the environmental team. Maybe, we'll see how that goes. She's going to let you know of some of the upcoming events and that you can attend and promote.
Thank you, Jim. Hi, everybody. I'm Carrie with Northern Arizona Climate Change Alliance. Many of you know me from many different hats. First of all, I just want to comment that Sandy Bagenstos should most definitely be the audit treasurer, because she was my treasurer for 2 years on DWPA. She's a rock star, loved her. Actually, she was my treasurer. I always did this to her. She was my my co-director, my vice, whatever. She literally made everything happen for me.
Your vice.
My vice. Yes,
Watch
exactly.
it, Carrie. We don't want that secret to get out. I was your vice chair.
That's right. That's right.
I
She
was Tony's treasurer.
That's right. But
Write this down.
I think that Sandy would be a great asset for the treasurer. I'm sure Jane would love to help. I really just appreciate to see how everybody really steps up into roles here on this in this organization. I kind of bounce in and out of Prescott Indivisible. I'm always coming in and giving updates for whatever organizing project that I'm working on, but I am entering a new contract with NASCA. I have been the community organizer in Northern Arizona for them for 2 years, and I'm signing a new 6-month contract. And I'm being tasked to really escalate our outreach and getting more and more people signed up to become part of the climate, the grassroots movement here for climate change, especially with our big wins with the election, and we're going to be coming into the Paris Agreement. Locally, statewide, nationally, and globally, we're going to have a lot of work to do, and hopefully we are going to be able to move the meter. So that's my job, is to plug people into the, educate people and plug them into the work and let them know about policies that are going on. Rapid response to save the Dells when there's some shenanigans going down at the City Council. I know that Prescott Indivisible does that. We oftentimes, well, all the time, work collaboratively together because I have a database of contacts, Indivisible does, but now, I want to get a little bit more involved with the environmental part of Indivisible and help Jim out and your whole organization kind of stay right on top of what's going on, because it's what I do anyway. So I talked to Jim at length a couple of days ago. So just a few things, really exciting. Hello, it's COVID. It's extremely difficult for us to get new contacts, people to sign up. But my co-organizer, Jenna Ortega, I'm a full-time paid organizer here in the West region, which is Kingman over to Cottonwood, and I'm based in Prescott, and she's Flagstaff and the Navajo Nation. So we came up with this really cute, it's really not gonna, hold on, I can't see. I don't want to share my screen because it's technically difficult, but we're gonna come up with this QR code. It's going to be join the movement and love your planet, getting people ready for Valentine's Day. We're going to do some of those shoe strikes again, where we call attention to the climate crisis, but give it a little bit of softer, like love your planet, in case people forgot that it is their planet and not just ours. But so we're going to post up the posters all over town. We'll set up maybe little tables. And so we're going to be doing that in January. And when you click here, I don't know if you're familiar with the QR code, but let me give you an example. So you put your phone up to it like this, just like you have a boarding pass at the airport, and you go like this, and then it'll register as a picture, like you're going to take a picture of it. And then your phone will be like, oh, do you want to open your browser? And so you click on it, it'll take you to the web page where you can sign up to see what we're doing in Prescott on climate action. So in February, we're going to have some Valentine, Love Your Planet shoe strikes. In March, we might have a bike parade. We used to have a March for Science. Gary Beverly used to help lead those, but we haven't been able to do those for a while. So we were thinking about maybe riding our bikes and having a bike march for science, and maybe Jim Stein can lead with his electric bike. And then obviously all of this is leading up to Earth Day, which is going to be, it's April 24th this year. And we're going to partner with the Prescott Farmers Market. It's only going to have a few socially distanced booths, but it's great that we're still going to be able to have that. And maybe we can get a Prescott Indivisible booth. And I also, sorry, my dogs. I also sit on the board with Jim Stein with the Yavapai Climate Change Coalition. So we do a lot of work there with the City Council, Barbara Jacobson, knows a lot about that work too. So I'm going to drop a few links in the chat box. And if you don't even know who I am or what Northern Arizona Climate Change Alliance is, click on the link that says join, put your email in there, and you'll get our amazing email updates, what's going on in Northern Arizona region, as well as in the Prescott area. And also, I'll drop a link of all of our events that we have coming up. We have we're going to partner actually with, or co-sponsor with Prescott Indivisible on a gender, climate change and gender, how women are going to lead us to a sustainable future. Course. We had that with the Democratic Women. Dr. Francis Reamer from NAU is going to be doing that. So that's going to be on the 22nd of January. Look for that in the newsletter. Everything's going to be coming out in emails. But I just wanted to thank you for giving me this time to tell you that NASCA is still up and running and going strong. And we really want to help out locally, save the Dells. We're working with the City Council, any kind of movement that we can make to really bring awareness to the climate crisis, and even the small personal things that people can do, like start the composting program with the Prescott Farmers Market. They just started a community program. So I'm excited to be here and helping out with the environmental team as much as I can.
Carrie, thank you so much. I didn't realize you and Jim were going to be collaborating on the environmental team. That's exciting.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Love to.
So next we have Jeff Daverman, who is going to talk about next month's GM and what we're going to do, because it's election time, it's a new year, a lot going on. So, Jeff.
Yeah, hi again, everyone. So before I talk about next month, I just dropped a couple of links into the chat. The first one is a petition to remove Paul Gosar. His antics over the past few days, I'm sure everybody's aware of at this point. And now that he's an insurrectionist and complicit in the
send it to you on email or text it to you.
By Democrats put together this petition. And so we're trying to get as many signatures as we can on that. And so you can click on that link there and go ahead and sign that petition. The second link I dropped in there is a tweet from the Prescott Indivisible handle about this petition. And so if you are on Twitter and you have not retweeted this yet, please click on that link and do so we can get as much reach as possible while these events are fresh in everyone's mind. Okay, so on to next month. Let's see here. Share this. So in February, in lieu of a general meeting, or in replacement of a general meeting, what we are going to do in February is have what I consider the most important meeting of the year. As you all know, we are moving into a new era. And the reason why we all found each other to oppose and ultimately remove Donald Trump from power, we have accomplished. Almost. I mean, it's coming right up, but it seems imminent at this point, even given recent events. And so in a couple of weeks, we're going to see that happen. And what's going to happen from there means that we need to actually pivot, because the reason why we all got together is no longer going to be in play. But the beautiful thing is that we have built something here that's pretty amazing. That's a great foundation for us to move forward. And actually, instead of having to resist the horror of the day that Donald Trump and his administration present us, hopefully what we'll be able to do is utilize what we've built to take the ideas and the values that we hold dear here and push them forward out there, and use the influence that we have for a different direction. So what we're going to do next month is we're going to have this community discussion. And we're going to present a bunch of opportunities for our membership to become involved in 2021 in this new era. And we're going to present an opportunity to get feedback from our membership. I want to give a shout out to Mike and to Roxanne, who both mentioned that they were here for the first time today. This is really what we need to do going forward. We need to recruit more people to do more work and more engagement moving forward to build on the power that we've already established as a foundation and use that influence for the good, for the best that we can. And this is the place where we're going to start that. Each team leader is going to give a little presentation about their vision for the year. And again, we are going to present opportunities to our membership to both give us the ideas of the membership and determine the energy and the direction we want to go, and also all the different tasks and opportunities that exist and are going to exist moving forward here that you can participate in. Because this is going to be the most important meeting of the year, what I'm really hoping is that we can get well over 100 people here for this meeting next month. And so what I need y'all to do, you can see here how many we got. So I need y'all to invite a friend. Okay, I need y'all to be looking for posts on social media and in newsletters with this image, this community discussion image on it, because it's going to have a link that you can RSVP to and share to your friends. And let's see how many people we can get to participate next week and help this meeting become a springboard that will move us into the rest of 2021 with some momentum. All right, so I'm looking forward to everybody, to seeing everybody there. And if anybody's got any questions, I'll be happy to answer it.
Quick question, that's February 4th, where and when?
So that is going to be in as a replacement for the general meeting, and it will be on Zoom.
Okay.
Again, we're going to send out posts with the link. Please RSVP. We actually have an idea of getting a little kind of feedback ahead of time, which will be in a form of a survey. And that way we can get some feedback and address some of the feedback we get at that meeting as well.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. So next month is going to be a real exciting time to generate new ideas. So Roxanne and Mike are new. Welcome. Is there anybody else that's here for the first time? I didn't ask that before. Anybody else?
Hi, I'm Crystal Lewis. This is my first meeting.
Crystal Lewis, welcome.
Hi, thank you. I do participate. I'm part of the Area P group though. But this is my first time actually attending a Prescott Indivisible meeting. So thanks for having me.
All right. Well, thank you. And thanks for being a part of Area P.
Also my first meeting today.
Who else?
Wendy Anderson.
Where is she?
Wendy Anderson.
No, Brendy.
Hey, my first meeting. I love it.
All right. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
So what brought you to this meeting?
I met a lady from my neighborhood, which and she mentioned this organization to me. So I looked it up and I like what you had to say and thought I would join this meeting tonight. And I'm very impressed and definitely going to be watching and hopefully participating. And as months go by, so everybody does a great job. You know, you're a small group, but man, you're powerful.
Yes, we are.
Yes, you
and
are.
With people like new people like you coming in, that's basically what makes us a powerful group, because our members coming in, we put out a call like, hey, we need funds for DACA, and bam, they're there. Hey, sign this petition on outlaw dirty money. Bam, we're there. So that is, we have the power of numbers and it's growing. So thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Hi, I'm Tracy Augustine, new also, first meeting. We moved here in August from Gilbert, Arizona, and joined via Facebook. And my son here, Gabriel, is an NYU student and he is joining during break.
All right.
Wow. Hey, welcome, both of you.
Thank you. My husband's here too, but he's not on camera. he's sitting right there.
So just turn your screen. Uh-oh, he disappeared.
But he's here. Sometimes you'll see his comments on the Facebook page, Chris Hawthorne.
Okay, got it.
Go Big Apple.
Hey, thank you. Anybody else? This is amazing with all these new people. Anybody else?
I'm Ken Simmerall. I've been a resident in Prescott for about 20 years, but my wife and I have both marched in the Women's March, and we've attended some meetings before going on Zoom. So, and then I was at the BLM March in September, which was a real eye-opener.
Yep.
Yeah, so glad to be here. Glad to be part of a great organization.
Hey, well, thank you for coming, and welcome. Anybody else? Wait a second, let me ask, maybe this is easier. Has anybody been here before? There we go. All right, thank you.
If they're not on our mailing list, do they want to be, and should they put their emails on our chat box?
We have a registration, so all of you who are new will be put on our membership list, and you will get the next newsletter.
Good.
Good point, Maria Elena. All right, so here we are. We've got some time left, and what we thought we would do is to go into breakout rooms to process the events from yesterday. Because I think a lot of people are disturbed that there was an attempted coup, an insurrection, and all the events that followed. So what I'd like to do is to just have you go into breakout rooms, have a sense of community. I'll set it up for 6 people in each room, and just...
I think people are leaving.
What's that?
No, nothing.
Yeah, I mean, if people want to leave, I mean, that's fine. But this is just an opportunity to share your thoughts and feelings about the events of yesterday. Well, and Tuesday, the election. So here we go with the breakout room. Have fun.